Hello curious strangers and my slaying gems, it's your girl Crystal, and what you're about to hear are my experiences on how I manifested my dream apartment in about 6 months. I will spare you the nitty-gritty details and give you the Cliff Notes edition on how I went too broke to pay my car note to living my best life in my dream apartment. Now I gotta take you back to 2018 when I was jobless with no particular direction. I knew back then I wanted to be independent and self-employed, but I honestly had no choice but to pick up anything I could find because bills were due and they didn't really care about my struggle story. Everything at this point started to snowball because of the desperation I had for financial stability. Y'all ever ask yourself, would it really be that bad to get an OnlyFans account? Because that's where my mind was. I'm kidding. Mostly. Okay, I'm gonna have a percent of y'all look me up on OnlyFans just to be disappointed. Don't do it.
Babe.
I'm getting to the manifestation bit, stay with me. If there's any life lesson I can share with freshly fired folk, it is that you need to hold on to every penny that you possibly can. Do not trust anything that is over-sensualized by, I don't know, registering for a talent expo out of state for a non-refundable fee of $2,000. Now this brings me to my very first step of the manifestation process of your dream apartment, and that is to know exactly what you want. While I was on the struggle train, I remember walking dogs for WAG. A, because dogs are nicer to me than people, but B, because these neighborhoods were on some Fresh Prince of Bel-Air type shit. I look like a black Goku right now because my fro is doing the thing. But I just want to say, whenever I walk in a very nice neighborhood like this, I just start to think, I'm gonna be here one day. Law of attraction, guys. I've never come across wealth to where I was that inspired before, so this hit me a little different. I would always put on my headphones and listen to empowering mantras or just pray to God and say, you know, I want this for myself. I want this home. I want this lifestyle. I would literally talk to the universe. Sometimes I would be muttering to myself and it would look creepy, I'm sure, if people saw me, but I never saw people around me. So I would literally just be speaking it into existence. That's kind of what I think started everything. The more familiar I got with going into these rich neighborhoods every single day sometimes or every week, the more I became attracted to comfort, luxury, and just living good. And I think all of those things around me just made me understand, okay, these are the feelings, these are the visuals that I need to manifest. So start doing that. Start remembering these different things so that way you can start attracting them into your life. I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting nice things in life. Like, I know there's gonna be people who might disagree and say that money is not the answer to all happiness, but honey, we try to be bougie every single day, but we can't really live it out because we just don't have the funds, we don't have the tools or resources. I personally feel like you're allowed to treat yourself nice. If you want a nice house, go get that shit. And I totally am bougie on a budget because your girl never gets her nails done. So, I mean, I clocked myself before you could, okay? Don't focus so much on these things that you definitely don't want in your future life. Focus on what you actually want to bring into your life. The more specific I became with myself on how I wanted to dress, what my bank account looked like every single day, and what type of income I would be bringing in each month, the more I was able to conjure up this reality in my mind because of my thoughts. Now, before rushing to manifest my big ass mansion, because you know, that will come, but just not yet, I decided to go ahead and manifest my luxury apartment, just like the ones I saw downtown. What put me on this whole thought process was the audiobook everyone kept recommending me, The Secret. This is not an Audible ad. Don't worry. I just decided to use Audible because at the time I didn't have time to actually sit down and read. And I know what some of y'all are thinking as soon as I said The Secret, because there are so many skeptics out there about The Secret and what it teaches. And I think if you are that type of person, just by nature, if you are always skeptical and you're questioning spirituality and you're questioning everything, then this is not going to work. Because my mind was very open. And I think it had to be because what I was doing wasn't working. The way I was thinking wasn't working. The way I was acting every day wasn't working. The way I was talking to others and treating others and including myself wasn't working. So I had to accept some other form of enlightenment, and that is what worked for me. Period, poo. But for those of you watching who do want a new perspective on life, maybe you just need a refresh of ideas. You need some sort of inspiration on how to kind of get the goals that you've always wanted to achieve, then I would highly suggest that read. The next thing I did was,
did you subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video, by the way?
because, you know, so far you're already watching this and you haven't X'd out, so I think you like it and I think you kind of dig my content. You might as well subscribe.
This part took the longest because I am no stranger to self-deprecating thoughts, okay? Ever since elementary school, I was chronically bullied, and then a little bit through middle school, but then it let up in like high school. But if you were bullied nonstop back to back, as an adult, you're gonna still feel those feelings. It's not always the case for everyone, of course, everybody's different. Even cyberbullying, you know, all of that just had to be eliminated from my life. This became what I believe was the catalyst for me to let go of all of these old connections, friendships, just anything and everyone who was not really helping me feel good about who I was as a person, or was doing nothing but making me feel unloved, unvalued, underappreciated, all of these things. You have to unplug from that, girl. Like, all I could do is just cry it out and give it to God. And I'm not even really a religious person per se, but that helped me through it all. Like, I'm telling you guys, during this time, I became so much more connected to, I would say, the divine energy around me, the divine power, God. And for me, that really helped me so much in finding my own inner strength. And I say this not to impose my beliefs about, you know, speaking to God. If you guys are not into that, then by all means carry on as you were. It's a really weird feeling when you realize, like, just letting go of everything that you've been holding on to for so long is literally the reason why you're not where you want to be. And that's why it's so important to do therapy. But hey, different topic for a different day. Always ask for what you want and do not do anything that contradicts what you are seeking for in your life. So of course, if I'm asking for more money so that I can save up for a nice apartment, then I can't just keep spending the way that I used to spend back when I was in my early 20s and going to trips places and going to conventions and going to concerts and going. No, I had to save money for my life and what I was seeking, and that was requiring a new person to arise out of me. Being persistent, I would say, with self-love and self-confidence and all these thoughts that came from everyday manifestations or everyday affirmations to myself, I would say that helped me get to where I am. I'm not gonna say it's always gonna work because this is just my experience, you guys. Like, this is just my story, but it works for me. So that's why I wanna tell y'all this. Fake positivity is not exactly what I'm talking about. You have to genuinely find the beautiful things about you, your soul, your spirit, you as a human being that you love, like unconditionally. You might have to fake it till you make it, you know what I'm saying? You might have to just be like, oh, you cute, and look busted in the mirror, but girl, one day you're gonna mean that shit. Sometimes that works for people. For me, I've always known that I've been the type of person that I believe I am today, but it's been so buried underneath the lies and the rumors and the bullying that I've endured my whole life because I allowed it. I let those thoughts in and I let it change my original thoughts. But really, those are not my thoughts. Those are outside voices becoming inner voices, and you just have to be persistent in kicking that out so you can let the good in. After all of that was done, I remember everything became easy after this. Getting a 9-to-5 job became a really important task for me because I knew that realistically, YouTube was not gonna pay the bills, okay? It just wasn't. And I had to quickly think, if I want this life, what's gonna be the best thing for me? I'm a college grad, I have experience under my belt, I am very marketable in my industry, so there should be no reason why I can't get a job that pays me well, especially in a nice city like Dallas. There shouldn't be any reason other than myself holding me back. All it really took for me to get so many calls and job offers was just jazzing up my resume. Most people I told about how I got the job were like surprised or impressed, and I'm like, oh wait, this isn't common knowledge? Comment resume glow up if you want to see me talk about how to enhance your resume, because in this economy we all could use it. But that update took me from getting 0 calls every single day to getting so many calls I felt like I was getting harassed by telemarketers. Like, I'm not even exaggerating or being extra. And I actually got a job offer at this one company and I was about to go with them, but luckily, the other job I ended up going with was able to compete them in terms of the salary or compensation, and so I obviously went with them, but it wasn't just because of that. It had everything I wanted. Like, this was a company I remember when I was little, and I remember going on field trips to this place, and now I'm working for their corporate office. Like, what? Like, oh my God. I remember telling all of the supervisors and higher ups, directors, I'm like,
I still feel shocked.
like, I felt like almost in denial, like this isn't really happening. It took a very long time for it to sink in. I couldn't fully believe or comprehend what I was seeing, what I was witnessing, and that was the world around me manifesting everything I was asking for leading up to that time frame. Cool modern office, diverse co-workers, and I wasn't the youngest person in the room for once, and that felt so good because all of those things actually do make a difference, and I didn't realize this until I had what I wanted, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, look at you, university, looking out for your girl. And I didn't even ask for this. Like, that's nice. You know, I could have been cool with a little cubicle and a little desk computer and everything, but you gave me so much more. The world and I would say God gives you more in abundance when you ask for those things. So don't be bothered when you ask for a little lollipop and you get the whole candy store. This became more of a reason to focus on getting my apartment because it was like an hour-long drive from where I lived with my mom, going to work, coming back, and I hate driving, you guys. Like, I have generalized anxiety anyway, but driving anxiety definitely is one of the top things that trigger my panic attacks. And y'all, it is not cute to have a panic attack in the middle of the highway. Let me just say that right now, okay? So remember I said earlier to not contradict the things that you want in life by doing things you did before that wasn't working for you? I had to start watching influencers like, big shout out to Investing with Rose and Graham Stefan. I was following them when they were like really itty bitty small channels, kind of like this one. And I swear, like, I obsessed over every upload. I remember binge watching all these videos about financial this, financial that, and I became interested in it. Like, genuinely, I wanted to grow my knowledge on financial literacy. I had to stop watching the beauty channels and the gurus this, the gurus that, because those weren't really instilling change in me. They weren't inspiring to me. I still, you know, support my girls like Jackie Aina, you know what I'm saying, in any other way I can, follow them, all that, but I didn't watch as much of that content because it wasn't serving the purpose I was really trying to manifest. Like, if anything, it was more of a distraction. If it's not educating you, if it's not giving you skills somehow, then you need to just stop watching it. I get entertainment, but if you have a really specific goal and you are right there to your goal, just do yourself a favor and fast forward by discontinuing the garbage that you keep watching. Because sometimes y'all be watching these girls and these men and these people who these people who don't deserve your time. Your time is so precious. You want to give it to Dane Sawson and Sefri Gar, but I don't understand why. In order to rewire my brain to really believe that this was going to be real, like this was happening, whether I wanted it to or not, I stayed inspired all the way through February of this year. That was the month when I moved into my apartment. So if you can stay inspired, I would say by following Pinterest. I would definitely look into Pinterest. Pinterest is also not the same vibe as Instagram where you're comparing your place with so-and-so's place. Like, it is literally, you create mood boards, you create themes, you create whatever thing that speaks to you about what you want, and analyze it, study it, and recreate it in your own real space. So after tons of Google review searching and making sure that I wasn't getting gypped by some cockroach motel, I found my dream apartment after saving tons of money. That includes emergency fund and a few months of income saved. Not everybody's going to be as fortunate as I was to have had a parent to allow me to stay with them and not have to worry about so many bills that took away from my time and saving. I could have also lived with my sister, but my mom was so okay with me staying with her. We bumped heads here and there, but by the end of the day, like, she loves me unconditionally as I love her unconditionally. Like, that's my mom, and I know for a fact, like, in this lifetime, in her lifetime, I will pay her back in so many different ways. And I think I'm already doing so by becoming and feeling more successful than I ever have in my life, because I know that's what she always wanted. So I'm just really happy that I'm here, because I just didn't think that that was going to be my story for the longest. That's a really scary feeling when you are your only cheerleader and then you just suddenly go from yourself. Like, you ghost yourself. Don't Casper yourself. You feel me? Like, you have to always show up for you, no matter what. Don't depend on followers, don't depend on friends or any of that. If you don't show up for yourself by being happy for your big wins and your small wins, how can you possibly get these other things that are waiting for you in life, that you want in life, that your goals are set for? Because you're fighting yourself the whole way. Does that make sense? Like, you can't keep doing that. Like, don't do it. Fast forward to present day. Here we are, dream apartment. Struggle train is now all the way over there. I'm all the way over here. And we're good. Although currently my financial situation isn't as stable or secure as it used to be because of COVID-19 screwing up my entire work industry, I believe that, and I've spoken it to the universe, and I'm speaking it again, I am going to be more than okay. I am going to be perfectly fine. You are going to be perfectly fine. You have to believe it. I believe it as I'm saying that, and I know that I'll be fine. Girl, like I got other income sources coming in, and so thank God for that. Thank God for unemployment. Thank God for stimulus packages. Thank God for supportive family and friends. That's the system that I've built in my life, and that's what's keeping me from, freaking out and feeling like I'm lost and feeling all of these negative emotions, because honestly, that's a valid thing to go through right now. It's super valid, but I'm just not, I don't know. I feel like I'm just protected from that. And that's all I can really describe it. Like, I can't find another way to describe it other than me feeling protected. The more we are aware of the blessings we have in our life, the things that are honestly miracles for some people, the more that you're gonna be able to see new things come into your life and bless you even further. And really do whatever works for you. I meditate, but some people work out. And for me, that was also a form of meditation, because when I was lifting heavy, I remember I'd just be like, I'm gonna get through this. Life might be heavy like these weights, but bitch, I'm about to get this booty and lift it up. Like, that's kind of what my head was thinking in the gym. And now that gyms are closed, now I, put waist beads together. That's my current form of meditation, and I use crystals and everything. I feel like I don't even sound like the same person I was a year ago or 2 years ago, because I think all of these concepts would have just flown right over my head, because again, I just wasn't ready to accept them. I wasn't ready to accept me, and you need to do that in order to manifest anything, let alone a nice apartment. And although I really shouldn't have to explain myself, but I'm going to just put this out there just so people know. This is not a flex. I have to express gratitude about my apartment. Some people live in nicer apartments than me, and I'm totally aware of that. I know that this apartment is probably a shoebox for some people, but for me, it is exactly everything I needed. And if I didn't believe that, if I didn't believe that this was everything I wanted, if I didn't show gratitude for my home, then I promise you, all of this would stop. You have to practice gratitude every single day, anytime you can. Sometimes I'll just look at my dog and I'll be like, you're so perfect. Like, And sometimes I'll just look at my plants and I'll just be like, okay, that's what's up. I love you. I'm so lucky to have you. And it's a small little thing I do for myself. It's very personal, but it works. It makes me feel at peace. Like, with everything going on, y'all, you have to do yourself a favor. Just try it out. Try it out after this video. Just look around your space, no matter how shitty it is, and find one good thing you can say about your room, about your office, about your car, about your hair, about your butt, about your plants. Like, find one good thing. I promise you, if you can't find one good thing, leave a comment down below and I'll help you out. That's how it starts. If you find one thing, you can find plenty, many more. That is how I manifested my dream apartment. It took many, many months for me of being self-disciplined and motivated and just resilient, honestly, but it worked. It happened. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am so glad you made it to the end. If you did, heart to you, and I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and yeah, bye.